At first, I had no idea what this film was about, and maybe you don't either, but I hope, by the end of this video, to convince you to watch this amazing piece of cinema if you haven't done so already. The film follows the titular character and his emotional struggle in claiming benefits after surviving a heart attack. His doctor tells him he can't work, but despite this, the government refuses to give him his rightfully entitled allowance, forcing him to go on what is known as the job seeker's allowance, meaning that he is sent on a wild goose chase to find a job that he cannot occupy because of his poor health. The tragedy of the story lies in Daniel's decency as a human being. He has no criminal record, no addiction to fund, and cares for the community around him. Despite living his earnest life and paying his taxes for over 30 years, the state gives him nothing in return when he needs it most. Something the film tackles with incredible skill is the idea of the digital divide. The exponential rate of technological innovation has left many of the elderly alienated and confused when it comes to living their everyday lives. No better is this examined than through the Job Centre and its paperless policy, which, whilst saving on costs for paper and helping protect the environment, slows down the process of application for individuals like Daniel who, through no fault of their own, cannot interact with computers as easily as most can. His employable skills on carpentry are also something that has inevitably been replaced by machinery. When he goes out to find a job he can't have, the reality is that there are very few jobs for him left as automation has left him redundant. The problem ultimately boils down to circumstances though, and the individual is forgotten in order to meet sanctioned targets. Daniel and his friend Katie aren't acknowledged in their situations that prevent them from working, and instead they must comply with the inflexible routine of getting financial benefits. Despite the doom and gloom, however, the kindness of individuals lifts up the spirit of the viewer throughout the film. Not only does Daniel help a woman and her kids settle into Newcastle after moving from London, but also the volunteers at the food bank, which is one of the most soul-crushing scenes in the entire movie, restored my faith in humanity. It was quite amazing to me because I watched it on the evening of the 19th of May. This was, for those of you that really do live under a rock, the day of the royal wedding. To see the disparity of wealth displayed on the same television set in the space of a few hours was quite something to experience. I'm not saying I recommend it personally, and I'm also aware that the film was fictional whereas the wedding was not. It was certainly quite the coincidence given that I knew next to nothing about the film's plot before switching it on. I recommend this film because it tells the angry truth. Although Daniel Blake is a fictional character, his story represents a very real issue in the bureaucratic welfare system. Individuals who are deemed fit for work by their health assessment, whether it be true or not, are expected to spend at least 35 hours a week trying to find work, the equivalent of a full-time job that you aren't even paid the minimum wage for. It will make you angry, it will make you sad, but most of all, it will make you aware. In case you need more incentive to watch it, the film gained enough momentum that it won the Palme d'Or Award and was recommended by members of Parliament in the House of Commons 3 times. This shows that there is a genuine connection with the truth this film portrays and the reality of poverty. Even characters in the film were based on individuals in real life with similar circumstances. Examples include people too embarrassed to go to a food bank, people not eating for days, and the constant discouragement of employment, as most that find jobs still require benefits to get by. The humiliation and lack of dignity is what ultimately gives this film its emotional edge. So if you get the opportunity, and definitely if you're a Brit, watch this film.